I am a huge fan of Star Trek The Next Generation movies as well as the Voyager TV shows. To combine both sets of crew into a new TV series just completely blew my mind. Today, we're going to be talking about the music behind Star Trek Picard, but before we do, I have a little show and tell for you guys. Last year in Photo Expo 2022, I did meet Jonathan Frakes himself for a whole 30 seconds for a photo op, which was pretty awesome. But let's get started. The song Blue Skies was originally from Star Trek Nemesis, where Data was singing at Riker's and Troy's wedding. Now, what you may not know is that the singer in Star Trek Picard is Issa Briones, the same person that plays Dahj and Soji. Issa herself is a singer, and she was selected to sing this piece for Picard, and there's a whole story behind that, which I'll link in the card in this video. Issa did say that this song represents the beginning when Data was singing this at the wedding, and also symbolizes the end when Data chooses a finite life. In season 2, when 7 of 9 and Raffi were sitting on a bus, there's this guy that was blasting music, known as the quote-unquote Star Trek punk. This scene references an older Star Trek movie, Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home specifically, where Kirk and Spock went back in time, was also riding a bus, and was also faced with this guy blasting music. This person, played by Kirk Thatcher, was actually on both Star Trek IV and Star Trek Picard. And not only that, Kirk Thatcher was the person that wrote the song for Star Trek IV, the I Hate You song, and this song was reused in Star Trek Picard. In Star Trek Picard Season 3, when Worf makes his appearance, he was practicing his moves and everything and was listening to an opera. That opera was actually from Star Trek First Contact when Picard was blasting that music in his room. I believe it's his ready room. And then, interestingly, it wasn't Worf that comes in during that time, it was Riker. Maybe Riker told Worf at some point, or maybe Worf learned about this music and decided to incorporate that into his practice routines, but it made its way from Star Trek First Contact into Star Trek Picard there. When Riker was trying to deactivate the security system and whistled "Pop Goes the Weasel," this was a flashback to the Farpoint missions, which is the first 2 episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation. And it was cool that they incorporated some of the flashback to some of the scenes played out in those 2 episodes. And then last but not least, we have the credits of Star Trek Picard Season 3. Now, I don't find myself saying this a whole lot, but the credits were awesome. And part of the reason is the music behind that was a combination of a couple of things. First, they took the music from Star Trek First Contact, and then they also combined that with the Star Trek The Motion Picture music, which kind of morphed into The Next Generation. So you have both of those combined together, and on top of that, you have the beautiful LCARS animation, which I really liked. Now, I may or may not have on more than one occasion sat through the credits just to see all that play out again. When it comes to soundtracks for TV shows and movies, I'm more passive about it personally, and rarely do I say, oh, what's the name of that song? Or, oh, I gotta listen to that again. But I feel like this is one of the exception cases where I would do that, especially because you have all that meaning behind the music. I think it would be cool if they had an additional reference with a British tar from Star Trek Insurrection, but let's not get too crazy here. And that concludes the 5 things that you may or may not know about the music behind Star Trek Picard here on Lights and Buttons. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. See you next time. Transporter Room 1, wanna beam up.